Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to our week of being in our power. Each day I've covered a different aspect of how we can be in our power, and I would love to know how you're finding it. I'd love to know, let me know in the comments how you're finding the daily tips. If you are resonating with what I'm talking about, how it's resonating with you individually, because here's the beauty of this. A number of you have reached out to me. You've sent me emails and messages saying, oh, wow, this has come at the perfect time. And the beauty of this is that each one of you has mentioned a different reason for why it's come at the perfect time. And I just want you to just really soak that in, because what it shows us is that we are always looked after. We are always given the right information at the right time. We aren't necessarily going to get it while we are in a sense of doom and gloom. We aren't necessarily going to be able to see it or hear it if we are caught in the problem so much that we can't be open to a solution or open to hearing guidance. But if we put a little bit of effort in, so if we, think, okay, yeah, I'll watch that YouTube video, or yes, I'll read that book that was recommended to me, or I'll finally listen to that song that somebody keeps saying I should listen to, the answers are there. And they're tailored to you. You will get from this what you need to get. So I would love to know in the comments, what are you getting from these videos? How is it feeling like it's uniquely for you? How is it helping you at the moment? So today, what I'm going to cover is fear as a guide. So yesterday we spoke about empowered emotions and how when emotions come, we can really welcome them and see them as part of our guidance system. Today, I want to focus specifically on fear, because in the culture that we're in, and often even within our own families and certainly within our own minds, and I'm going to explain why, we have become very fear aversive. Avoid anything that frightens you. Wait to not be frightened. I'll do that when I'm not frightened. And so where that comes from within our minds is from our ego. It is, firstly, can we please embrace the word ego and the whole concept of ego? Let's stop thinking of it like I always think of that Skyhook song, ego is not a dirty word. It's not. We all have one. It's like saying, oh my God, why do I have this left leg? Oh my God, why do I have this, why do I have these hands? You have them for a reason. Anything we have is for a reason, and the ego is part of our human experience. We all have one. We just haven't been taught why it's there, and we haven't been taught that it is also part of our guidance system, and that when we embrace it, when we also welcome it in as part of the journey, there are a lot of streams of thought, teachings that will say to you, we must rise above, we must get rid of it, we must have an ego death, da 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 da. It's not that we need an ego death, it's that we need to know we are not that. If you listen to each lesson this week, each video this week, any of my videos, you are going to start to recognize that I talk about ego and I talk about right mind, and that I talk about the fact that you have a choice which one you listen to. Now, that can't be truth. That can't be something that exists. We can't have a choice between fear and love if there is not a separate us. If we are not something that is separate from both of those things. And that, in a sense, is what people are talking about when they talk about an ego death. It's to understand I am not the ego. I am not the thing in my mind that is the fearful thing, that is riddled with fear and riddled with angst, and that is a control freak. I am not the one that wants to stay small. I am not the thing that needs to stay safe and control all of the outside world before I feel like I can do what I want to do. I am not that. So by seeing fear as a guide, by as we move through our day, if we recognize that we are fearful, if fear has been triggered in us for whatever reason, hello ego, there you are, just recognizing it, just separating yourself out from it. There you are, okay? And just sit with it. And really, where you will really start to see it at its best and how it is really separate from you is, you'll all be able to relate to this. We have a plan of something. Let's say we get invited to something, or we organize something ourselves, or we create a project, or whatever it is. We're really excited about it. We are so excited about creating it and inviting people and having people come. And then as it gets closer, the excitement dies down and the fear rises. Because what happens is our right mind, our wiser selves, our excited self that wants to create and be at its brightest, beaming at its most expansive, has given us an inspiration. We have acted on that inspiration. We've taken that and we've gone, I'm going to create that. I'm going to have that party. I'm going to move to that area. I'm going to take that new job. I'm going to start that course. And as it gets closer, this voice gets louder in its desire to keep us safe, in its desire so that we don't get judged, ridiculed. What if I can't do it? What if I don't know enough? What if I have a party and no one comes? What if I write a book and no one reads it? What if I post that on Facebook and everybody defriends me? That comes from that part of us, that the fear starts to rise. And what's so important, what I really want to introduce today and what I would love for you to do moving forward is to recognize that in itself is a guide. That in itself is kind of like a bell, a wake up opportunity for you to recognize that's my ego. That is neither my right mind, my wiser higher self. That is not me. That because I wanted that thing. I put effort in. I created that thing. I paid money. I did all the things I needed to do to create that thing. And then this rises, that is not me. So by understanding when fear rises, as you're watching the TV, you're watching the news at night, you were okay when you sat down and then the fear rises. That is not me. That is my ego. My ego is frightened right now. As you're having a conversation with somebody and they're talking about what might happen, what might not happen, where life might go. As you sit with your family and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Well, how are they going to react to that? Oh God, I hope she doesn't bring that up. I hope he doesn't bring that up. Needing to have a discussion with your partner. Anything in your private life, anything in our collective, because of course we have individual fear, we have collective fear. Anytime we're in fear, start to see it as a guide. So today, anytime when any fear is triggered from anything you hear, think, or feel, anything that you need to do today and you feel fear about it, anything that is starting to come up and you're getting more fearful of it, there's ego. There is ego. And today, remember, I like to keep my practical tips simple. We don't have to go into a full therapy session and figure it all out in the moment, because you know what? That's overwhelming and we're not going to do it for a very long time. That is going to be short-lived. That is like saying, you know, any time this comes up, like do a 1 hour workout. You're not going to do it. But you will do one thing. You will breathe. You might shake your body. You might do that, but you're not going to do a 1 hour workout. So today, when fear comes along, recognize, it's a guidance. It's part of my guidance system. And when I'm in fear, I know I'm in ego. Ego has now taken over. Ego now has the floor. Ego is center stage. And anything I now think, feel, or do is coming from ego and not from me. and certainly not from my higher self, my wiser self, or my right mind. So let's start embracing fear as much as all of our other emotions as part of our guidance system, because what it lets us know is I'm in ego right now. Ego has taken over. Now, what happens? So all you need to do today, whenever you feel yourself in fear or feeling fearful about something that's coming up, about something you need to do or whatever, or fearful about the state of the world, you say, there's ego. Take a breath. And just, that's all you have to do. For today, that's all you have to do. You can build on that. But for today, that is setting a beautiful foundation where you start to recognize, I am not that. So also, if you find yourself saying, I'm frightened, I'm fearful, change that to ego is frightened, ego is fearful. Okay. So when you say there's ego, now you're already becoming conscious. That's a brilliant thing to do, to become conscious. Because what can happen when the fear rises in our minds, for whatever reason, for each one of us, it's going to be different. We're all going to be frightened of different things. When that fear rises, we can either, and let's say, okay, ego has center stage. You can either sit in the back row like this and pretend you can't stop the show. That's you completely unconscious, would be you thinking that's you. The next kind of step into being slightly conscious is that you recognize that, okay, it's taken over, let it do its thing. Let it just do its thing. I haven't got the energy to fight. I haven't got the energy to stop it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. A very important point here, never fight it. Never fight it. Fighting ego is as futile as arguing with a 2-year-old. Do not fight the part of you that is most frightened. It does not need your anger. It does not need your rejection. It does not need conflict from you. It needs your love. It needs you to step up. Okay? The more you step up, the less frightened it will be, the quieter it becomes, and the more it just becomes part of the guidance system. So the next step would be, ego has center stage. You walk part way down the audience, and you kind of sit in the middle section and you go, all right, look, let it just do its thing. And then, you know, I'll take over in a minute. The next step would be front row. And you're watching it and you might be learning. What are you reacting to? What are you really frightened about? What's really going on here? Why does this frighten my ego so much? What has set it off? And what might the real fear be? And what does it need right now? It's always going to need you to step up on the stage, take its hand and say, it's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I've got this. If you follow my work, you will often hear me say, be the adult in the room. And that's what I mean by that. Be the adult in the room. When it comes to your fear, when it comes to your ego, see it as part of your guidance system. Be the adult in the room. So if that visual helps you, think of the ego as when fear overtakes you, or when you start to feel excitement or joy or pleasure at something that's coming up, something that you actually wanted, and the fear starts to rise. Or, as I said, you're just watching TV, or you're having a conversation with someone, or it's 3 a.m. and you're lying in bed and you've woken up and that fear is high. See it as it's got center stage. And here's your options. And ideally, you will say, there's ego. There's ego. That helps you to recognize I am not that. And then stepping up on that stage, holding its hand and saying, it's okay, I've got this. You don't need to figure it out in that moment. That moment is not about figuring out, because you can't problem solve from a place of fear. You can't problem solve from that place. First, you need to shift the energy. You need to shift the vibration. So by recognizing that is not me, by stepping up, by holding its hand and by saying, it's okay, I've got this, you are now the adult in the room. You are providing love and support and compassion for that aspect of your mind that is frightened, fearful, and the least evolved part of you. And that's where you want to problem solve from. That's where you can start to think about solutions. But in the moment, let's just leave it at that. Okay, so that's the practical tip for today. The oil that showed up today, I tested up earlier, was White Cypress, which is a beautiful, woody, really earthy forest smell. And the message is Kindred Spirit. And when I tested up, what is it that we need to know about that? Everybody watching needs to know about that. And just please know that's for now, and that's for any time in the future that you're watching. You'll find this video at the right time. Kindred Spirit. And the message was, please tap into the massive support system that you have, right? If you think about that auditorium and the stage, that whole entire audience section is filled with your support group, filled with your support network, seen, unseen, spiritual, physical, on every realm. Internal, external. It's the energy that gets this video to you at the right time. It's the energy that gets the friend to ring at just the right time. It's the energy that puts inspiration into your mind. See that whole audience filled with your relatives, your friends, loving beings, with angels, with God, with Jesus, with Mary, with whoever it is that's on your crew. It doesn't matter. Don't put anybody there that doesn't resonate with you, but whoever feels loving, and see them as you step on that stage and as you hold ego's hand, and as you say, your fear personified in ego, as you hold its hand and say, it's okay, I've got this. See them cheer you on. Standing ovation every time that you do that. Standing ovation. Where they're saying to you, you've got this. We've got this. I'm here for you. Okay, so that's what that oil is helping you to remember. The two cards that showed, which I also tested earlier, was from the deck Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements. A beautiful deck, a beautiful book, The Four Agreements, and Don's book, The Mastery of Love, is a book that I recommend to people so often. It's beautiful, and it actually gives a really great understanding and description of ego and love. Okay, and so the two cards that showed from there was Discern the Truth. Don't make assumptions, discern the truth. And what we need to know from that is, you are not that. Start discerning the truth of who you are. Start discerning the separating out of you from ego. I am not that. If I was that, I wouldn't be able to choose. I am not that. I am also not my right mind. I am not this wiser aspect of my mind, because of course I'm not even just my mind. I am far beyond that. I am something that in every moment gets to choose between the two. So discern the truth of who you are, and how huge that is. And then enjoy heaven on earth. That is how we enjoy heaven on earth. That is how you enjoy heaven on earth in your mind. This is not about a religious heaven. This is not about heaven being the same for everybody. This is not about sitting on a cloud and playing a harp. It is about understanding that when you discern the truth of who you are, when you are able to separate yourself out from your ego and not be driven fully by this fear, sitting at home waiting, I'll do it when I'm not frightened. I'll speak up when I'm not frightened, when I won't be judged. I'm going to stay small. I'm not ready to do that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not thin enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't have enough money. It's not the right time. All of that is ego. And when you can discern the truth of who you are by separating yourself out from that, and then you create your heaven on earth, which will be as unique for each one of us as our experiences always are. Yes, collectively, we have similarities that we want to create. Collectively, we want to create equality. We want to create a thriving ecosystem. We want the earth, the planet, to thrive. We want humanity to thrive. We want to be healthy, well. We want to be abundant. We want to be loving and connected. We create heaven on earth when we understand that. Okay, and each day we've been doing a little visualization for each chakra. So today is the solar plexus chakra. I'm going to finish off with that. So it's very quick. If you're getting ready in the morning, getting ready for work, that's okay. You can still do this. It's very quick. It's going to take like a minute. Your solar plexus chakra is around your belly button area. So pop your hand kind of on that area and just closing your eyes and take a nice deep relaxing breath in. Conscious breath and breathe out. Okay, another nice deep conscious breath in. And as you breathe out, feel your shoulders relax. Feel that relaxation move down your torso. As you breathe out, feel your focus moving down your legs into your feet and on as they stand on the earth. I want you to see a golden beam, a golden ray of light coming from the center of the earth, moving up through the earth and into the soles of your feet. See that golden light filling your feet, your legs as it moves up to the base of your spine. Now see it filling the lower part of your abdomen, and see that golden light flowing up to your belly button area, to where your hand is. Filling that sacral chakra area, that solar plexus chakra area, sorry. And now see a light, that golden light beaming out from your belly button area, from your solar plexus area, beaming out. And I want you to say, I am connected to my power at all times. I am connected to my power at all times. Nice deep breath in. Another nice deep breath in. Lift your shoulders, roll your shoulders, open your eyes when you're ready, and breathe out. Okay. That's it. Nothing else is testing up to talk about today, and I don't want to overwhelm you in each video. It is a pleasure to have you here as always. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I would love you to leave me a comment. How did you go with yesterday's teaching? How did you find today? What is resonating with you? How is this helping you in your day? And certainly on the last one, which will be Sunday, definitely let me know if you want to expand on anything more. Hold off on that for now, just because let's see if we cover what your questions are as we move along through the week. But it is a pleasure to have you here as always. Please share this with anybody that you think will benefit, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have an empowered day, knowing you are connected to your power at all times. Much love.